Have you ever actually looked at a train track? I mean, really looked at the steel rails? At a glance, they're just endless metal lines fading into the horizon. But look closer at the cross-section. It's not a solid block of metal. It's not a simple rectangle or a perfect cylinder. It looks almost like a capital letter I, but with a chunky top and a wide, flat bottom. This basic rail shape is everywhere, from the high-speed bullet trains of Japan to the massive, miles-long freight trains crossing the Americas. But why? Why has this design remained practically unchanged for nearly 200 years? To understand the shape of the modern rail, we have to go back to the beginning. In the early days of railways in the 1700s, tracks weren't shaped like this at all. They were essentially just wooden rails. Later, thin strips of iron were added on top to reduce wear on the wood. But as trains evolved from lightweight horse-drawn carts to incredibly heavy steam locomotives, these early tracks literally started snapping under the pressure. Engineers also experimented with L-shaped rails, where the track itself had a raised lip to keep flat wheels from falling off. But it was a nightmare. Dirt, rocks, and other debris constantly piled up in the groove, increasing the risk of derailments. One of the biggest breakthroughs came when engineers realized something counterintuitive. Don't put the guide on the track, put the guide on the wheel. By adding a flange or a lip to the train wheel instead, the rail could be simplified, but it still wasn't the perfect shape we know today. Enter Robert L. Stevens in the early 1830s. He was an American engineer sailing to England to buy steam locomotives. During that long sea voyage, Stevens reportedly began whittling a piece of scrap wood. He was trying to design a new rail, one that could handle heavy, fast-moving steam trains, but didn't require expensive, hard-to-find metal brackets to hold it upright. What he carved out of pine on that ship is what we now call the flanged T-rail, or the flat-bottomed rail. When he arrived in Great Britain, he had ironworks produce his wooden design in iron. But here's what most people never think about. That same wooden shape is also why a derailment doesn't happen every single time a train hits a curve at full speed. Let's break down the design into three parts: the head, the web, and the base. The top part is the head. It's thick and chunky because it has to withstand enormous contact forces and constant wear from steel wheels carrying thousands of tons. If you look closely, the top isn't actually flat. It's slightly curved. This works together with the slightly conical shape of train wheels, helping the train naturally center itself and negotiate curves more smoothly. Next is the narrow middle, called the web. Just like an I-beam in a skyscraper, the web helps the rail achieve exceptional strength while using far less metal than a solid block. It stops the rail from bending under the crushing weight of the train without wasting tons of expensive material where it isn't needed. Finally, the base. It's wide and perfectly flat. This acts exactly like a snowshoe. It takes the intense, concentrated weight of the train from the thin web and spreads it out across the sleepers below, allowing the load to be distributed into the ballast and the ground beneath. So the next time you're standing at a railroad crossing, take a moment to actually look down at those rails. That I-shaped profile wasn't designed by committee or arrived at by accident. It was carved out of a piece of scrap wood by one man on a transatlantic voyage, and it's been carrying the weight of the modern world ever since. If this gave you a new appreciation for something you've driven past your whole life, hit like and subscribe for more stories about the engineering and history hiding in plain sight around us every day.